So welcome to another episode of the Web Marketing Show. Today we've got Jay McLean. Welcome, Jay. Jay, I was just having a quick chat with you before the show, and gee, I mean, you've done a lot of things, which is why we've got you on the show. You certainly know your stuff. Jay is so you've been studying millionaires and billionaires for the last 15 years or so. People like Warren Buffett and Oprah Winfrey, Pierre Omidyar from eBay, and of course Larry Page and the guys from Google. Now, my guess is you don't spend 15 years studying some of the world's top wealthiest people without learning a trick or two along the way. And of course, you've written a book called that, Millionaires and Billionaires, and which is what we'd like to talk about tonight. So, Jay, welcome to the show.
Welcome, everyone. And firstly and foremost, thanks, Brett. It's really an honor to be here and to share as much as I can and basically to give value to your viewers. Awesome. So yes, I wrote a book, co-authored book with actually my mentor now is a business partner. I think most of you know Darren Stevens. So we really looked at some of the most influential billionaires today and looked at their business secrets, their personal success secrets, and then that was really imparted into my businesses and into all the things that I'm doing today. So it's really helped me well to be a bit more strategic. To find the passions from within, which I refer to as my God-given gift, and go out there and something that was shared to me, and I share this to my students, is that these gifts that I have found is really a gift for me to pass on. It's not for me to keep, and now I'm passing that on to a lot of viewers out there. So yeah, it's a great opportunity, and thank you for this, Brett.
Awesome. So in relation to the gift, so you started out as a property developer. So walk us through the journey. How does a property developer become a world best-selling author, and what happened in the middle?
Yeah, well, there you go. It's a great question, because you've pinpointed what the changes. Basically, I started like everything. I think most of the viewers have read an awesome book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Mr. Kiyosaki himself. And that got me started. I read that during my honors I studied at Monash University in Melbourne, of course. And it started to make me think about that, hey, maybe being employed is not the right thing for me. And so to cut this short, I basically looked onto a journey of being an entrepreneur. So I worked full-time and actually had a job with afl.com.au as a junior web developer. And as soon as I hit 6 months, I went and got deposits for investment properties. So that was way back in 2000, and I secured one off the plan and 2 properties in Queensland. And fortunately, 2 years later, they doubled in value.
Nice.
So I pretty much had this huge line of credit, which I ended up doing renovation work, and then that renovation work, did that for a few years, made a lot more money in there. And then one of my builder friends said, hey, if you're making money in renovating properties, you should check out developing properties. And then I started researching on that and then made money through that. But then what happened was that literally 3 years into the development business, we were pretty successful. We did about 75 homes a year and made a lot of money on that. But I realized, and also with my wife at that time, because we had other businesses as well, we realized that we were still really working for money, right? We didn't really, we looked deeper within ourselves and said, hey, lifestyle is not about, working 80 hours a week. And that was our challenge, and that was the thing that we had to get away with. Yes, the money was good, and lifestyle was good. We're eating out all the time and doing that, but we're working hard. And I said, this is not it. We have to look at something else where the business can follow me or can follow us rather than we follow the business. So that's where I met Darren Stevens, who's the co-author of Millionaires, Billionaires, and I went through his mentoring program, and we were literally, he pretty much changed the things that I was looking at in terms of generating money, adding value, and we got into the business consulting business and information business, where that fulfilled sort of our dream. Yes, we can make a lot of money through that, but then the key thing is that it followed us. We didn't need to follow it where we're staying at one place day in, day out like Melbourne. We could literally travel, which is something that my wife and I really love. And that business can follow us because, business consulting, online businesses, information businesses, you can literally create that. And your customer base, in my case, were business owners, business entrepreneurs, and they're all over the world. So wherever we go, if we go to, Singapore, if we go to Japan, if we go to the US or the UK, I'm going to find customers all over the place. And that's what changed us. But I think the key thing there within that story was that we really looked within ourselves and say, hey, what do we really want in life? And, we had the help of mentors and support, from the family around us. And that basically made us decide, okay, this is the new things that we want, and maybe what we're doing right now, even if it's making us a lot of money, was not really what we wanted. So, yeah, that's what happened. And then that's how I got into business consulting, and then started doing stuff on social media, because that's a big thing these days, and started to capture clients not just in Melbourne, not just in Sydney, not just in Brisbane, but California, UK, where else was there? Canada, Singapore, Hong Kong, and I was just teaching them online, like what we're doing right now. We're doing a go-to meeting, and then sharing them some strategies, and optimizing their websites, doing SEO stuff, all that stuff, and it was fun because I could literally have time during the day and just dictate the scheduling that I wanted, and then log on, teach, add value, check out their websites and say, hey, we need to change this or do that, and then boom, and then after I do those meetings, I could just go out and have dinner with Emmeline, and then come back and have another webinar like this at night. So
living the dream.
And that's what we want. Yeah, living the dream. We traveled a lot during those years after we found out what really we wanted to do. And while I was traveling, I was sort of showcasing the things that I enjoyed online, sort of sharing the story, of course. And that's the essence of Facebook, is really sharing your story. And people captured that, people liked that. And then that's how I started to get, a global customer base, which is probably the most awesome thing you can do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So that's a good story, and it sounds like you're certainly living the dream. That's for sure. Because to go back and recap, you basically, so you picked up a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and thought, yeah, I want to be like this guy. I don't want to be working for a boss, or I don't want to be trading time for money. What do I want to do? And so you were trading time for money. You were doing, in your case, web development, but you had a bigger plan. You started putting money away. You got a deposit on a house. You started getting into property development, but it wasn't really until you kind of reassessed and asked yourself and your wife, the question, well, hang on. Instead of running around in circles, let's really reassess where we're at and where we want to be. And obviously you came to the conclusion that, well, the reason we got into property development is because we didn't want to be trading time for money. Yet that's exactly what we're doing. So let's take a step back. So you thought, okay, so I want an online business, and I want to have customers all around the world, and I want to be anywhere in the world I can be at any one time, which is great. You're based in Australia, but yet you're in the Philippines tonight, I believe. So, you kind of can be anywhere you want to be. You mentioned you got customers all around the world. Awesome. So, and it's really good that you've shared that with us. And like I've mentioned, you kind of, after you took a step back and realized, well, hang on, what is it that we don't want to do? What is it that we do want to do? The light went on, the penny dropped. You said, okay, we need to have an online business, because an online business is what's going to give us the flexibility, the lifestyle and everything. And that's great. Okay, so you wrote a book. You've obviously studied some of the world's top money-making people. You've learned a few things along the way, which would be great if you could share some of that stuff with us as well. Okay, so a lot of us have the dream. We're in a job and we sort of think, yeah, I want to be just like Jay, or anyone else who's doing what I want to be doing. How do you make the transition? It's all well and good to say, yeah, I want to start an online business. Great, I want to start an online business. Where do I get customers from, and how do I kind of, how do I get some momentum and some traction on the thing?
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, you definitely need the passion and the drive. I mean, that's always talked about. But
Hmm.
I think the key thing really is just taking the bold step and giving it a go. Now,
Sure.
if the listeners are out there are doing full time, I'm not saying that, quit your full time job and then transition to being, an entrepreneur and doing stuff online.
You
I
got to
think
be
it's
responsible too, obviously.
exactly. So that's
Yeah.
common sense, I think, and we don't need to go about that. But I think it's giving it a go, and all I can say that accelerated my success was, okay, if you like, for example, let's just take it, let's just say Facebook marketing, or marketing and getting leads, qualified leads on Facebook. Now you've got to go out there and find people that are what you believe that are credible and that's got the runs on the boards, that can do that. So in my case, I was looking at people that could literally market their products and services on Facebook, and then I was looking at them and saying, okay, can these guys be possibly my mentors? Okay,
Right.
so and then there's pretty much, I think if you got that attitude where you never give up attitude, you can always meet someone or contact them, email them, and pretty much just nonstop. Don't ever give up on trying to find that mentor, and then try to attach yourself to that mentor. So in my case, it was Darren Stevens,
Yep.
and I basically harassed him in a nice way.
You stalked him. Yeah.
Yeah, stalked him, and then I said, hey. I can see that you've got the runs on the board. You're well-known business consultant and strategist, and I would love to learn a little bit about you, and hopefully if I've got the budget, I could be mentored by you, and that's what I did. Even if you don't have the budget, you could always just send out an email and get tips. But that's the acceleration. I found mentors that are where I wanted to go,
Sure.
and I learned and sort of got ideas from them. Even treating them out for lunch or something like that. That's a pretty good hint. Whatever you can do to just learn and pick their brains is the key thing. So that's what started it, and then that actually accelerates your momentum. It gives you confidence. It gives you self-esteem, and some of the crazy things and stories that Darren was telling me that some of his clients, he charged like 25,000 an hour,
Hmm.
and I said, hey man, that's like awesome,
There's a lot
and
of lunches.
yeah, that's exactly. And then basically I said, hey, if you can do that, I'm not saying I'm going to earn 25,000 an hour now, but if I earn 1,000 an hour, that's pretty cool anyway. So then that's what happened. And then he sort of gives, because he's been through that path, he kind of guides and directs you towards the right way. At the end of the day, you still need you could say the kahunas to keep going,
Mm.
because there's always going to be challenges, and the entrepreneurial journey is that. I think it's been said again and again, is it's not about like how smart you are or how much money you have. It's about how you get up after being falling down all the time with your challenges. So that's the key thing, is I surrounded myself with people that are in the areas that I want, and then I just did it. I just basically did it, learned the mistakes, got guidance from people around me, especially your mentors and people that are in that space, and then just kept on moving, and just that's all I really did. Just kept on moving, learn from my mistakes, and then and I believe that's the greatest and fastest way for you to succeed in life, is really learn from your mistakes,
Mm.
and have guidance around you. So that's what I did, and then literally 3-5 years later, I started to get a good idea about what business model I wanted, what value that I've got in the marketplace, how I can deliver it, how I do it with customer support systems, the tools that you could use out there, because you're always around that space. You're always getting guidance from people, and you're trying and looking around that, and with consistency, with persistence, and the success is always there. It's not about like you cannot get the success if by being consistent, by being surrounded by people that where you want to go to, and being surrounded by people that has achieved the goal before you. The success will always happen. The success will always happen if you're there, hanging in there, and just giving it a go. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's really what happened. And one thing leads to another. You meet another person, and then they've got some cool software or cool product that you could apply into your business and enhance your business, and manage it well, and that's what happened. And basically, what are we now? Like 7 years into the Life Master business, I'm around the world, especially now setting up another um, branch in the Philippines, and then after that we'll go to Asia, probably Singapore, and then the US, and then just continuing that grow, because and also that continually looking at where your goals are, keeping it, like I've got like my own iPhone app where it daily I look at it and say, okay, this is what I want to achieve in the next 2 years, this is what I want to achieve in the next 5 years, and then I'm consistently looking at that thing because I carry my iPhone all the time. It
Yeah.
literally is my life. And I'm looking at my goals, I'm looking at my dreams. So then I'm always, I mean, you can't say that you've got a straight path, but you're towards that path as straight or as, pretty much as straight as possible as you can. So
Yes.
that's really what's happened to me. And my mentors have grown as well. They got bigger and bigger. And just some crazy mentors, but they've really served and helped me well. And that's the great thing I can probably pass on is have good people around you.
Yeah, and I think to add to that is the underline the word good, because you've got to, I think, choose your mentors wisely,
Yes.
because unfortunately not all mentors are. Well, I mean, it's not that they're not good. It's just maybe that they're not on the same wavelength or the same direction, going in the same direction that you need to be going, or whatever. So you do need to choose
Yeah.
wisely, and sometimes you're not going to find your perfect mentor straight off the cuff. Was that the case with you? I mean, you sound
Yeah,
like
yeah,
King
yeah.
Midas of the internet marketing world. Everything you've touched has turned to gold. But has that been the case?
No, no, yeah, yeah. I mean, Darren was probably he was probably, let me look. I had some mentors in Sydney, some mentors in Queensland, and I think he was probably about the eighth real mentor that I've invested in,
Yeah.
that actually we are connected well, and then we connected well, and we actually did something together and created a service or product in the marketplace. And then the book is just one aspect of it, the Millionaire Billionaire book. There was other things behind the scenes that we did together, and built a good business. And that's why I'm here in the Philippines. Is it's just expanded from that. But
Hmm.
yes, I mean, and you're going to get mentors out there that, I'll sort of mention the key point there is that has the runs on the board. So they've got to
Sure.
really prove and show that they've got the they've got the credibility out in the marketplace. They've got the results, and not only that is that you need to connect with them, because if you don't connect with them, um, you're really not, you don't feel at ease asking the questions, asking the silly questions, and you're just not comfortable with that. So, and that's the thing. Like Darren's pretty laid back, but he's very strategic. He's very serious when we're in the serious mode. And I connected with him. He's good friends with like Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins. So they're the people that I looked up to, reading their books as well. And so it's been a blessing, but I think I created that success because I was continually hunting
Hmm.
a mentor like that. So and it's so true, Brent, that yes, you got to pick and choose your mentors, but go out there and then just see, and then you'll know. I mean, you've got that sixth sense, you've got that gut feeling that, hey, this may not be right, and really just follow that. But a key criteria is, what have you done in your life to say and to be who you are? So that's a key thing that I always check out. And it's Google's there, and then there's always things that you can look. Otherwise, you could ask other people in that area and see that, hey, is this person really saying who they are, and have they got the runs on board? So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. As they say, when the student is ready, the master will come. Huh?
Exactly. Yes, yes. Even over here in the Philippines, the master has come.
So one of the you actually run. I mean, you run a series of workshops and webinars and that. And one of them is
Yep.
you're saying one of your webinars. The title is how to become rich is not the most important question to ask if you want to achieve lasting riches. Explain that to us. What do you
Yeah.
mean
So
by that?
that's actually the third book, and the third book's Money Character.
Yep.
And it's really about it's your mindset, it's your personal conviction about life, and how you see success. So yeah, the title is money character. It's not really about money. It's more about internally how you see yourself. I mean, we see a lot of people out there trying this, trying that, and never really creating the results they want. But they're seeing the people sharing that, making those results, but then why aren't they getting those same results? Well, it's really about the internal, what we call conviction, or your own money character, where what that means is that it doesn't matter if you've got money, or you've got access to money. It's really about your own conviction in life. It's about how you believe utterly within yourself that you can create a level of success. So that's what it's about. Is that and with that, it's because it's like if I give someone a pot of if I give someone $1 million, and if they are not ready for that $1 million, then basically it's like winning Taft's Lotto. That $1 million will disappear in a couple of weeks' time. So internally, you need to be preparing yourself. You need, if you're looking at the internet marketing world, you need to be prepared. You need to research. You need to get guidance, and then that internal conviction, when it's ready, it's like the secret stuff. It will attract the right people that you need. It will attract the right business that you want. The sales will just come in, and then you go, heck, what the heck did I do to make that sale? Or if you're consulting, you've got a big client that's just come in, which has just happened recently, by the way.
Nice.
Anyway, and you're thinking, hey, how did that happen?
The floodgates open.
Yeah, but I know that like just in the Philippines, that was like a 2-year journey to prepare myself for and position myself in this marketplace, showcase with series of webinars like this webinar that you're talking about, and then boom, like I'm getting clients left, right, and center. Not just clients that can pay small, but clients that can pay big. Even I mean, the conversion's a lot different from Australia to the Australian dollar to the Philippine peso, but it's like nearly equivalent for a big client. So so here it's like a massive client. But yeah, so that's what happens. It's really just preparing yourself, doing the right things, continually growing and expanding and evolving, and then that's when your conviction will be strong. You're able to handle challenges, and then you will attract the right deals. The income streams that you want, whatever that is, and well, in fact, beyond that actually. And then just enjoy life to the max. So that's really what so that's the third book.
Yeah, I think and I mean I've obviously been around internet marketing for many years myself, and interviewed a lot of people as well, and I think the theme across the board is pretty much that. Stop looking at internet marketing as a get rich quick scenario, because it's not. Internet marketing is just business. It's just another way of doing business, and it's like anything. I mean, if you want results, you've got to plant the seed, and you've got to water it, and you've got to fertilize it, and you've got to
Exactly.
wait and be patient for it to grow, and then it'll produce fruits.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate that in this day and age of internet marketing, there are a lot of people that kind of slap together a website saying, hey, give me $50 and I'll sell you a book that'll show you how to, quit your job on Friday and go and retire over in Hawaii or something. And it's not reality. But unfortunately, that's all around us, and it gives internet marketing a bad name. But internet marketing, is actually a very, very good and powerful medium for us as business owners to use to to get in front of our potential and prospective clients, and to get our brand and to get our business awareness out there. If used properly and correctly, and applied with patience and everything like that, it's just another way of doing business. So
Yes.
And on that. Sorry?
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean that's I mean, if you want a longevity business, then that's what you got to do. Yes, it's a good point that you mentioned it. There's a lot of stuff out there that say that, okay, quit your job and then you're going to become a millionaire for the rest of your life. Well, it doesn't work like that, and those people that say stuff like that, they're not going to be around in the internet marketing world for long. So, but yeah, I mean, they're the hard yards, and then, and creating good value out there, being consistent with that. And if you're going to say you deliver customer service within 24 hours, you got to deliver to that. So, and you've got to have good systems in place or good team in place, and make sure that you follow what you say and really do the right things. So yeah.
So, in your book, let's talk about your book, Millionaires and Billionaires. I mean, this is obviously based on your study of years and years of watching some of the top income producing people on the planet. What has been your finding, and talk us through a bit about what's in the book.
Yeah, well, it's really it's quite consistent. It's just astronomical, like how there's consistency within each of the entrepreneurs, and each have their own little journey, their own little struggles, and all those guys in that book are self-made, so it's not like inherited or
Yeah,
anything like that. They basically created that from scratch.
started with nothing. Yep.
Opera probably had one of the greatest stories where
Yeah, she does.
she didn't really have a great upbringing, and she was abused and all that, but she was quite committed to it. So the tips that were quite consistent, or the strategies or the success secrets that were quite consistent within the book, but literally all of them was that they had a dream, they had a vision of, like, an idea of what they wanted, like an idea of the lifestyle that they wanted, an idea of the business that they wanted. Bill Gates had the idea that the computer, there was going to be a computer in every household. Well, I think it's gone beyond that. There's like 5 computers in every household.
Yeah.
So, and he just had that. He was quite visionary. So, and he just, throughout all those years in the early days, he was still consistent with that dream. So that dream, like, that fire was always there. And that's the same thing, literally with who else was there? There's Warren Buffett that was there, Richard Branson, that was the same thing. So they had some sort of dream, they had some sort of idea of what they were looking for. And then the other thing really that stood out was that they were just consistent. They were persistent with that dream.
Yep.
Even if they had to go and work, or they had a side job, or they were doing some other thing, they still believed on that dream, and they were consistently taking action towards that dream. And consistent action doesn't mean that you've got to do something massive. Consistent action is that, hey, if you've got a dream of in Gates to have a computer in every household in the world one day, is that, okay, what do you need to study about computers, or what do you need to study about marketing? So daily they were doing things towards that dream. It was small chunks that started to compound, and then it started to manifest, and that was the key thing. So that was one thing, is just being consistent daily.
Yep.
So that's what my Life Master app, and I've got, like, I had a manual that I wrote for like 1,000 days pretty much straight on being consistent with my dreams, and that turned into an app. So that was, and then lastly was really, in every entrepreneurial world, there's always going to be challenges. Okay, yes. You're going to come across brick walls after brick walls, and those brick walls are not made of sand; they're made of platinum. So, and trying to go through platinums would be pretty tough. So what they realized is that when they came across challenges, they dealt with it very quickly. They didn't hang on to it and say it's the end of the world, and they're stuck with that challenge for 6 months. They basically said, okay, this is the challenge. How do we deal with this? And then on top of that was, what resources, if I can't fix it, or if they personally can't fix it, what resources can we get to deal with this challenge?
Sure.
So that was the thing. They were very resourceful, and they dealt with challenges very, very quickly. And that's a skill that everyone can have. I mean, we're as human beings, we are conditioned to, okay, here's a challenge, and say, man, I was about to swear, but I better not swear. I said, man, how do we deal with this? And then we procrastinate on that challenge for day on, day in. And that's the thing, that these entrepreneurs, they just dealt with it very quickly. If they couldn't deal with it personally, they were very resourceful, Like, they found people, they hired the best people in the world to deal with it. And if they couldn't deal with it, they just say, okay, let's cut our losses and let's move on.
Sure.
Or, what else can we do on top of that? So that's just being resourceful and being adaptive to that challenge. And I think that's the key thing. There was a lot of other ones, but if we could sort of infuse that book into sort of, like 3 items, that was it. Have a dream, have a vision,
Never give
be
up.
consistent
Yeah.
towards that. Yeah, so never give up. Donald Trump has got a book about that. And he's another guy, even him personally, I probably don't like, but the guy is an awesome developer and an awesome businessman. And then, be resourceful. And when you come across challenges, just deal with it there and then.
Yes.
Okay. And then that's it. Not like basically say, okay, put it aside, and then it's just going to come and surprise you in the butt, even bigger and better, weeks later or months later if you put it aside. So there were the key things from that book, and I think it's great lessons learned. And it's just funny enough, I'm interviewing some of the most successful people here in the Philippines, so billionaires and multimillionaires, and the same thing pops up again.
Consistency,
the same thing pops up again. Yeah, it's just being consistent, dealing with problems as is, and not taking it too personally. Even if you lose millions of dollars, or there's an entrepreneur here that's in the mining business, and he I think he went bankrupt like twice, but then now he's in his late 60s, and he is probably one of the most successful entrepreneurs here in the Philippines, and he's got franchises galore. He just opened up another big franchise, and it's making millions every day. So it's amazing, his story. But that's same thing again, same sort of set.
It's the drive, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's the drive. I mean, if you're in business and you give up at the very first hurdle, well, you're not gonna go the distance. So obviously, those that are successful have got where they are because they've just barricaded their way through every hurdle that's come along, and they've pushed through it because they're driven and they're motivated, they're inspired, and they have a dream. And they have a burning desire to get what it is that they want, and nothing's going to stand in their way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Where can we get a copy of your book from? So I'm going to put a link at the bottom of this video, obviously. So, I mean, your website, I mean, that's obviously the first place for people to go to, Life Masters Secrets. SuccessSecrets.com. Just we're running out of time. Just give us a bit of an overview about some of the services you offer, because obviously, I mean, you've got a wealth of experience in online marketing and obviously property development. You've written a bunch of books, and we were talking before the show. You said you've got about 20 more coming out. So you've certainly nailed how to write a book, write a bestseller, because now you've got a whole production line of them churning them out. What sort of services do you offer to business owners, and where can we get in contact with you?
Basically, it's through that website, as you said, lifemastersuccesssecrets.com, and then there's a contact us there where you can basically goes directly to me. But in terms of the services, it's really towards there's 2 aspects of the services that I offer, both online and offline. Mainly online is capturing good qualified leads through social media these days.
Sure.
So that I call it the Fab 5, which is integrating your website, which is number 1, to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, and to YouTube. They're my Fab 5. So I help businesses find good leads through those mediums. And then the other service is really systemizing any small business owner or even corporations where there's a part of a duplication process. So we look at each area of their business. That could be from capturing leads, servicing, taking phone calls, and then we systemize that. So then it becomes duplicable, and then it comes to a point where that business owner can really just project manage things rather than be in the business.
Sure.
So I do a lot of that system generation, system creation, and lastly, the cultural aspect of the company or any business owner. So I help business owners look at their employees, and then sort of look at integrating how that particular employee could be a big part of the business moving forward, and helping them integrate through training, through personal development training, things like that. So they're the key, you could say, services I have from a business consulting point of view. So I do a lot of stuff online, and probably the last thing is positioning and branding. So as you mentioned that I'm doing a bunch of books this year, really is just to showcase my value out there in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so we do that through in the the book form, which is an offline form, but then we launch that through Amazon, through Kindle, through an offline form. I mean, the great thing about books from electronic form to hardcover form is that it allows you to sort of express your value in your own special way, and then it is the greatest lead generator out there. People go through your book, that is a hot lead. So if they're, I mean, of course, you've got a strategic way of capturing leads through the book. So, and then taking them through your website, taking them online, showing, giving them tickets to your events, giving them, free webinars and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing. And then the next thing I'm doing is magazines and e-magazines and stuff like that. But I teach businesses to do the same thing from a positioning, branding perspective, and that's probably the greatest thing these days. A lot of businesses are liking that. I'm getting a lot of good clients, through that funnel. So,
Awesome.
So quite a few things there. But
Joe,
really
you're certainly a busy man. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So, but it's been an awesome journey, and I know it's going to get bigger. And I mean bigger. I mean global bigger. So I'm very excited with where I am right now. Very happy, and just became a recent father, so that's even better.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Well
so
done.
Angeline's 5 months old now, and it was great that I had that idea that the business follows me, because it does give me the flexibility to be around Angeline, and that's always my dream, to be around the family, be around friends when I need to be, but still, play hard and work hard, but it's still, managed and controlled well.
Awesome.
Yes.
Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. You've certainly shared a lot of really good insights with us. You've got a wealth of knowledge. It's very evident that you're very passionate about what you do, which is great. You're loving what you're doing. You live in the dream, and you've had your obviously your share of success along the way. So congratulations, well done. Thanks for coming on the show. I'll put the links down here as well, and so obviously my recommendation is that people go to your website, they have a look at your books. You've got a series of events and webinars and all sorts of resources. Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Brent, and always an honor, and very grateful for this sharing. So thank you so much for that.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Jay.
See you, everyone.
Okay.
Yep, bye-bye.